Hey there, if you're like us and a lot of our clients, you're kind of frustrated by the amount of data that's really not available in GA4 and Google Search Console when it comes to SEO reporting, right? You tend to be forced to look at tools like SEMrush or Ahrefs or other tools like that to try to consolidate, a lot of the reporting and keyword research that you're doing. So without having to use those tools, which are great tools, by the way, if you are using them, if you are looking to avoid using those tools or looking for another way to do some reporting, we're going to take a look at data that you can pull from Google Search Console into Looker Studio to build a dashboard for your SEO properties. All right, so let's take a look at some of the data that is typically available in Google Search Console. And so it tends to be pretty basic. So you see, for the whatever date range you choose, whether it's for the last 3 months or something more something more refined, like the last 28 days or 7 days or something like that. But if you look at that, you can see your clicks, impressions, position, and your click-through rate. And so that's what you can see out of the box, and it lists it by keyword or by the pages, devices, and that type of thing. So what it's not telling you though, so like particularly if you're looking at average position. So let's get rid of the impressions and the average click-through rate right now and just look at position. And so you can order it by position. You can say, hey, I want to order this and look at our top keywords within a certain range. And then you can, order it all together. So you just see a big list of all of those keywords that you might be ranking for and in Google Search Console. And this data is also available in GA4. If you've connected GA4 to your Search Console, it'll show you the average position and that kind of stuff. So you don't necessarily need to go into Google Search Console to find this. But you do have to have Google Search Console set up and connected to GA4 to do this. So that will show you this information. Now, it will allow you to do some comparison. So if you click into the date range and you do compare, you can look at, for instance, the last 3 months compared to the previous 3 months. You can customize that to whatever dates you want. You can apply, and it will give you the change, right? So you can see how many clicks different certain things are. You can see what the previous position was, that kind of thing. But again, it doesn't consolidate it. It doesn't show you like the total number of keywords, for instance, that you have that are in a certain range. It doesn't show you the ranges of positions. So how many buckets of keywords do you have? It's just going to show you by keyword. So how can we get a little bit better look at this? So we're going to take a look in Looker Studio. We're going to create a new report. Okay. We're going to go down to Search Console. And let's search. We'll do our website. Web. Add that. All right. So out of the gate, we're going to look at what you have available. So we're going to add a chart. We're just going to do a scorecard. And let's make this clicks. That's fine. Total clicks for a given month. We'd probably want to see that. Probably want to see average position. Okay. And we're probably going to want to see impressions. So let's take a look at impressions. Okay. So that's basically the same information that we could get over here, right? We can see the impressions, total impressions, total clicks, average position, that kind of thing. So, okay. This is a different property that we're looking at over here. So let me change that just so that we have it as the same. Okay. So, and this is for the last 3 months, whereas this report is defaulting to the last 28 days. That's why you're seeing different numbers. All right. So this is great, but it doesn't really give us a lot to go with. So maybe we want to see the unique keyword count, right? That is in the top 10. So we want to see how many keywords are in the top 10. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to have to create a field. So we're going to go over here and click add a field, add a calculated field. And we're going to call this unique keyword count. Okay. We're just going to do a very easy formula. So distinct count distinct, sorry about that. And then queries. Yep. And that will be the unique keyword count. Okay, so now we have that as a metric, unique keyword count. So let's put that in over here. All right, so that is an interesting metric all on its own. But what if we want to see that, say, for the top 10 keywords, or even the top 4? Because realistically, you know, with all the garbage that Google's putting into the search engine results pages, the SERPs, you know, it's pushed down a lot by, you know, shopping information, by map packs, all that kind of stuff. So really your listings are getting lower and lower on that initial page. So if you're in the top 10, sometimes that means that you're on the second page now, unlike, you know, historically where, you know, top 10 was usually, you're pretty assured of being on the first page, but anymore that's really not true. So top 10 is interesting, but maybe it's top 4, and you'd have to kind of get a sense for what you are looking for there. All right, so now we have unique keyword count. Now we have to do a little bit of where it gets a little more complex. So we want to look at certain keywords that are just in the top 4. And what we have to do is we're going to have to do a data blend. And the reason we're having to do a data blend is just because of how Google defines these metrics. So it's a calculated metric in the dashboard, but when you start to do a data blend, it's actually going to make it so that you can use it as a dimension. And it's very, if you didn't follow that, it's fine. Just follow the steps and we'll get there. So we don't need the Google property. We're going to want query and maybe clicks, right? I don't even know that we need clicks in here. So then we're going to add another table, and this is the Google Search Console data, right? So we're just going to choose that again. So we're doing the same thing. We have query, and this time we're going to want maybe average position. So that's what we're looking at there. Okay, now we're going to do the join, do outer join, and that's fine. So what I'm going to do here is add a filter. I'm going to do where the average position for those keywords is equal to or less than or equal to, and let's say 4, because 4 is, you know, kind of where you kind of want to be right now. So let's do that. So that's got a filter. Then we're going to add this filter over here, same thing. Then we're going to save that. Back. Okay, close out. And so now we're going to choose this, and we're going to actually change it up here. We're going to do this blended data. And now we have, we're going to change the name of this. So it's, we're going to call it top clicks 1 to 4. All right, and so this is how many, actually not clicks, we're going to change that name, top keywords. Sorry about that. Top keywords in 1 to 4. So now we have this very quick card that shows the number of keywords that are in the top 1 to 4 positions, okay? And so obviously you could do that. You could do that for, you know, the top 10. You could do a couple of these to show different groupings, like how many are in the top 10, how many are in the top 4, that kind of thing. So what we've done is we've created now a metric for the total keyword count, and then how many are actually showing in those top positions. So now if we want a table to do this, let's look at a table that will group these together in a range. So we're going to go back up to resource. We're going to do blends again, and we're going to add a blend. And we're going to do query. Get rid of the property. Don't really need that. We're going to do average position. Same thing. Join. Let's do average position. Clicks, just so we have it. Now we're not going to add the filter here. I'm going to show you a little bit different filter. So we're going to name this. We're going to call this top keyword groups. Okay, we're going to save that. Close. Okay, and now we're going to look at how you can add this to a table with a grouping. So we're going to put in a table. Okay. Let's do queries. All right, what we're going to do is create a new field here. So we're going to click on this. We're going to add a field. And I've already copied and pasted this from another table that I did this. So we're going to look at the case and then when and the average position. So this needs to be dynamic. So we're going to put that in there. Average position is less than or equal to 10. And then it will tell you this text on that field. And so we're going to go through and change these. Average position. Okay. And then else above 30, we're going to click apply. Okay. Less than or equal to 20. Oh, we have to name this. So I'm going to name this keyword groups. Okay. And then there we go. I accidentally had the wrong one selected, so it should be top keyword groups. Okay. And then so you can see here, now that we've done that, it's showing this data. Now we can sort this. So we can sort it so that it's ascending, or we can do it by the keyword groups or whatever. So you can see how this is broken out now into those groups. Now I could get rid of these numbers. I could format this table differently, and you could get more finite or more detailed with that. All right, so this is the table version. Now, what if we wanted a chart that showed this? So we could go through the same process. Let me just do a real quick, see if this will work. So if we go in here, use the same data, and if we do a stack chart, it's not going to want to work because there's no date. So let's see, stack chart. Let's see if we can go into here, manage the blends. It was this keyword grouping, and we'll add a dimension of date to this. Let's see if that works. No, it didn't. There we go. So we just had to change the dimension today. So this is still using the top keyword groups and query, and now we've added the date. And so now we have a stacked chart that's going to show some of this information by day. And so you can tend to see how it's performed over time. And where this could help theoretically is that you can see a divergence in the keywords that you're not ranking in the top 10 and that kind of stuff. If you have fewer keywords over time ranking in the top 10, obviously you're going to want to do something about that. But this is a quick way to go in here and be able to look at that visually and be able to see like, hey, we're like back in here in July, it looked like there was, a down trend in keywords altogether, which obviously is something to be aware of. And then it grew in August. There's just more keywords in the top 30 and above. And then you can kind of see like, how is that diverging, and are the top listings being changing over time? And so you can look at the state range however you want. You can add controls to look at these by date. So why don't we do that? We're gonna we could also add comparison metrics to this too. So let's look at comparison metrics, previous period. And then I'll show you trends as well. So you can see, like, for instance, the keywords in the 1 to 10 dropped during this 28-day period as a total. So you can add that comparison data to that chart. You could also add it up here. So let's look at some comparison data here. Previous period. All right, so you could do that for all of these, so you can get a little bit more insight into how the program's performing. So let's just go through and do that just to be able to show you. Okay, so we have a chart for the keyword groupings. We have a table for the keyword groupings. Now what you can also do is just a very quick look at what keywords are in your top groupings. And so what we can do here is just very quickly look at query. So we're going to get rid of date. We're going to look at the queries. Okay, we want clicks, and we want average position. Actually, you know what? I don't know that we even need average position. So, oh, this is still in the top keyword grouping. So we're just going to look at the raw data. So query, clicks, and we want to look at, like, maybe in this table, let's look at the top 10 keywords, right? So what we can do is create a filter. And let's call it top 10 keywords. And we're going to have average position is less than or equal to 10. The keywords in the top 10 positions and by their clicks. Now let's do maybe the next grouping. Maybe that's the top 20, right? So we want to look at top 20. So we're going to get rid of this filter and change that to new filter. Top 11 through 20, right? And so it is average position. Let's just say it's greater than or equal to 11. And then we can see how many clicks those are getting. And that's by clicks. So, and we can see the drop off of, you know, like the number of clicks that they're getting by, actually, obviously will go down if they're above 10. So now I would typically label these, like add a label up here, you know, go in and add a text box where we label it so that everybody knows what it is. Top 10. I could spell position, keywords, and then I'd put a label over the other one too. Obviously this can all be made much prettier, but this will give you a quick glance at your top 10. Beyond that, just to see the kind of traffic, okay? And so now we have a much more complete and informative SEO dashboard using the data coming from Google Search Console. And so we can see trends, we can see how those keywords are grouping, and then we can see it over time. So how has that changed as we make changes to the website and to our SEO efforts? So hope this was helpful. If you guys have questions, let me know. If there's other stuff like this that you have questions about in either GA4 or Looker Studio, let us know in the comments. If you have other ways of doing this or you have metrics that you report on, we'd love to hear about that too and see how you're doing it. And then, of course, if you need help with your reporting, with your marketing, with your SEO efforts, our agency is more than happy to talk to you. We do have a free 30-minute consultation available on our website. Just go ahead and click on the link that's in our description below. That will bring you there, and you can chat with me personally about your problems that you're having or needs that you have, and we can talk about how we can help you. So again, talk to you soon. Hope this was helpful. Let us know if you have feedback. We always love to hear it, and have a great day. Bye-bye.